Thanks, John, for having me on. I'm extremely confident. I mean, we did better in the fourth quarter this year than we did the fourth quarter of 2019 by 15%, which was our best year ever, 2019. We're not just talking about good for a pandemic. We're on all cylinders. We're doing better than we were pre-pandemic right now, and the demand is global and the demand is strong.
So what about the possibility of more variants? Are you hearing from your customers that their operations have changed such that they'll be able to continue to do business, or that it's more likely that they will? Do you have a playbook that you feel prepares you for that eventuality?
Hey, John, you have to remember the fourth quarter was the quarter of Omicron. That's when people said, will movies come back? Should we open up? And, look how well we did. For the year, IMAX was up 150% roughly from 2020. And the regular cinema industry was up 75%. And again, this was a time and place where studios weren't confident about releasing movies. Our market share for the year was up domestically. It was up globally by significant amounts. So it wasn't over when this was happening. So as it recedes, I couldn't be more confident.
Richard, I was surprised to see that IMAX China had returned to profitability, given its just challenges surrounding the pandemic, and its box office seems to have recovered at this point in time. Do you expect that to be sustainable as we kind of work our way through this pandemic?
Well, I mean, again, I think people want to go to movies. There's a lot of pent-up demand, and when they go to movies, they want to see them in IMAX, and that's clear on a global basis. And I think when you look at our financial performance, it wasn't just a domestic phenomenon. It wasn't just a China phenomenon. I think people have had it with sitting at home and watching TV movies in their houses. They want to get out. They want a cultural experience. They want to socialize, and they want to see it in a very different way than they see it in their home. They want to be immersed in the movie. They love the technology. They love the experience. The filmmakers urge them to see it in IMAX, and they're responding.
Yeah, I mean, the stock is now, after hours, up better than 8%. I know I look forward to going back to the movies. What about investment? You had set aside some portion of funds during the pandemic to sort of help customers get through it. Now it seems that you're moving off of that posture. And so how much are your customers prepared to invest, and your potential customers, in doing more IMAX, or what are the factors that are going to influence the pace of that?
Well, I mean, the slate for this year is incredible. And the Batman opens next week, and Warner did a Batman Day where we sold $2 million worth of tickets in 20 minutes for a special IMAX release a few days before. I mean, coming up in the next couple months, you have Jurassic World, you have Doctor Strange, you have Top Gun, you have Thor. I mean, it's a very big year this year, and customers have said, as I said before about market share, they really want to see it in IMAX, and as a result, I think if you're one of our licensees and one of the exhibitors that has one of our technology licenses, you're seeing that financial performance, and you want to get out there and you want to be in the IMAX business. And if I were one of them, I'd want to be there quickly.
Are you concerned, Richard, that there's any sort of pull forward effect taking place? What I mean by that is that people were kind of cooped up for a couple years, and once things opened back up again, they went to the theaters. But, in a few months, maybe it'll settle down and people will get used to watching and streaming movies at home, noting it's easier. You don't have to hire a babysitter, for example. Are you worried about that effect taking place in the future?
I'm not, Leslie. I mean, one of the favorite questions, I'm actually out in LA, that I ask people is, what are your most anticipated streaming movies? What were your favorite streaming movies last year? And no one can really name them. And then you compare that to the likes of Jurassic World, Top Gun, Avatar coming out later this year, Black Panther 2. I mean, that's not real competition. Let's face it, the ultimate stress test happened a year ago. People were locked in their homes, and they were captive to what was offered on streaming services. And streamers and studios experimented with going around the theatrical window and doing it direct in the home, and it didn't work. Those movies just didn't work. Look at Spider-Man. We're now at about $1.8 billion and still going. Dune, I mean, people really want the theatrical experience, and I think basically streaming of theatrical movies, piracy, all those things was a failed experiment.
Interesting. Well, IMAX shares up 7% after hours today. Thank you for joining us, Richard Gelfond, CEO of IMAX. We've got an earnings alert, a dual earnings alert actually, on Bath & Body Works and Allbirds. Courtney Reagan has the numbers for both of those retailers for us.